Welcome back. The reason of making this particular video on the topic of importance of market research in product development is, and this is particular topic that is outside the book from where I am referring to make the videos for this playlist. That means the product development lecture that I am giving here. So this particular video is basically outside the book, and I thought, like, opportunity identification chapter, that is the first step, of course, and of course there are some precursor step also, we can argue on that. But I thought like the example given there is very generic, and for community that we are, basically we are predominantly academic people. So basically we mostly focus on core technology or of subsystems, let's just say, and of course thinking about the spin-off and various other entrepreneurial adventure, that's of course on the line. But mostly to start with, of course, as a community we focus on core technology of subsystem, or it can be small full system also. The reason why subsystem, because in generally the products are, or instrument or machines are nowadays are very complex, and yeah, etc., various other reason. And yeah, so as just to repeat that, I thought like in that book, opportunity identification lacks some quantitative understanding which is needed for quantitative approach, and we need that quantitative approach in our research to start with, to understand the opportunity of new product or core technology, etc. So that's why I'm making this video, and hopefully I will make similar kind of video and I'll keep adding into the playlist. So yeah, so yeah, let's start then. So naturally the question is, why do market research for the product? And we can think about opportunity identification in a more of a way that we basically learned in the previous video on the series, and in fact it depends on the kind of product that you want to make. And in case of high technology, detailed deep technology sort of thing, it's good to do market research. Maybe for academic people it doesn't need to be done. It's not like, I mean, of course maybe it is important if you want to apply for a big grants there, you want to add something interesting for the people to read. Who knows, I'm not really an expert on grant writing, but that also may be important. But for a small or big firm, it is very important that the market research is important. If not for the very generic or product that the toy, that example used in the book, where basically it's basically a toy which will be played by sorry for my English, which will be used by cats, cats will play with it, something like that. So that's a very generic, not really generic, but very easy example. But for more interesting cases, for cases which we might be interested there, it doesn't help, you can't. So I think in that case, opportunity identification should have a lot of market research, etc., etc. Now, without market research, your product may fail, or in our case it would be like some core technology or core research direction that we thought about, and we kept on working on it for 5 or 10 years, and then it doesn't work well. And we've, after 10 years, we realized that when we try to push for the IP or try to talk with investors or higher authority in our university, or let's say whatever institution that you are working, you get neglected, because if they thought, oh, it will not work, this. So in that context also, to have a knowledge of market knowledge is very important. And mainly the and lack of market knowledge may lead a product which is basically of misleading design, which is directed or basically which overestimates the market, or basically in generally it is ineffective communications. Communication here means communication between what the customers need and what you are providing as an organization. In our case, it's basically some core technology that we want to encapsulate, and market it, etc., through whatever mechanism we want. So it is understood that market knowledge is very important for success of the product, and it is essential for each step. And in fact, this is a figure that you see, I took it from the book itself, where they actually, this is part of a screenshot of some figure where they are trying to explain various function of various department of a corporation. Like if I can just see in the book, the various department in the organization, like marketing department, design department, manufacturing unit, and other functions, etc. So what is the function of marketing team into all the phases of product development, starting with the planning? It will articulate the market opportunity which we are right now interested, but hopefully we'll get a lot of more content out of this video. And define market segments, very important. And then in concept development, collect customer need, identify lead users. So lead users is a term where it is used, basically the product is not like a kind of an item that it will be sold to millions of people, but rather it's a very high valued product and will be used by a low number of or less number of people or groups, etc. For example, a medical scanner, it's not something that you buy for pleasure or just as a toy, something like that. It will be bought by big organizations like hospital, universities, etc., for research and healthcare purposes. So that's an example of lead users, if I think that's my correct judgment. And in the concept development, also identify competitive products. That means what are the other competitive products. Now from an academic point of view, these are not really something that you should be too much doing, but I think it depends on us as a personal choice. And as I said a little bit earlier also, I believe that when you are applying for a bigger grant, which is very competitive in US and in every country, I would say, and it depends on a lot of other factors, but at least if you are a junior professor or whatever position you are, it is a very competitive thing. And there I would believe that if you can do this background analysis, some sort of market analysis, and try to come up with this interesting way of writing and conveying information to the people who will be evaluating your grant, maybe it will you will get the jackpot. In the system level design part, the marketing team would do developed plan for product options and extended product family. And in the detailed design part, developed marketing plan, and then testing and refinement part, developed promotion and the launch material, facilitate field testing, and finally in production ramp up, place early production with key customers. So these are general points, and of course this is taken from that old book that we are studying. And certainly we are not going to discuss this thing or not exactly this thing, but rather, again, just before we start, I would like to point out that this is not something the material I'm not making from my mind. Of course, I'm taking some major references, I'm reading a paper space to be specific, and of course I will provide the detail of the paper in the end of the video, and also you'll find it in the description section. So the point being, the author here tries to mention that misuse of particular research methodologies of performing market research can lead to innovation failure. That means if you want to there are a lot of marketing research tools, methodologies, and maybe software, etc. And if you are not doing it properly, even you have done some exercise on that, it might not produce an effective output, and that may lead to product failure. So here in this particular video, we will look into 5 market research problem in the product development cycle. That means 5 problems that will arise in different parts of the product development, different times of the product development. First is starting with identification of latent demands. So this is something that we all want to know, that okay, so for example, I want to work on some scanner design, etc. Whether I will be able to do it or not in future, that's is a big question. But that's my as an applied scientist, I want to do that, because I feel like if I can do that, then I would be happy, and also it will be good for my career and getting grants, etc., etc. But then what future holds, that we will never know. I will personally never know. So but for me, it is a very important question that what is the latent demand of the customers, or in my case, to be more specific, users of the potential scanner that I want to build. Yes, so it is not like an out of box idea. There is a scanner, and it's a very interdisciplinary field that I work in, and there is a lot of bunch of different ideas. Scanners are available in the market, and a lot of ideas in the literature. So how you basically, before coming up with any idea, how you know that what is the actual need of or more importantly, what will be the need in the future? So that is needed to be understand first, and that is in fact can be termed as some sort of a market research, because here also you are accessing or trying to understand in the market what are the lead users and what are they doing right now, what are the kind of application they want. And sometimes you also have to understand that because they are users, so they will not be able to pinpoint that this is something we need in the future or now, because the reason is that okay, so this can be done if I can perform my mouse experiment in this way, it would be good, etc., etc. But since you are from a technology point of view, or physics or mathematics or whatever background point of view, you will be more prone to understand the new future need actually in a some way. I'm not really saying that we know everything, but yeah. So I'm here, of course I had gone into an example which is of interest for me, but you can connect also in your case. Second thing is identification of requirements valued by customers. So that is also important. And third is concept testing. So when you are testing the concept, what kind of market research that can be done to make it more effective. Fourth is prototype testing. So prototype is like, in case of software, we have this alpha, beta, prototype, etc., etc. And it comes to hardware also, there may be a lot of other things. And how you improve the prototype testing through market research. What are the steps one can take. And finally, evaluation of product performance with consumers. So that is very important, not for even that particular product line, but maybe for future product line from for a person who are working inside a company. So these are the things we'll be looking into. And yeah.
So that's it for this week, and we'll continue from next week. See you then.